The theater of ideological absurdity unfolds yet again, dear interlocutors, as we wade into the quagmire of political faux pas and media melodrama. At the epicenter of today's spectacle lies the inimitable Destiny, wielding his scalpel of critical rhetoric to dissect Hassan, the twit star turned progressive firebrand, who he contends must be exorcised from the hallowed halls of Democratic Party media access.
Why is he so obsessed with Tiny? Probably because he's starting to take some of his first optics L's against me ever. I think probably the clip and the juice, all of it is probably pretty bad. He's probably like pretty upset that he's lost. Like, I think he lost that Bernie Sanders opportunity as a result of all of that. He's probably for the first time started to get hate from external communities. He probably doesn't deal with that very much, except for maybe when people are attacking him in conservative communities, but they're not. I don't know how often they even cross. And then the fighting with Ethan's community and Ethan himself is probably weighing on him. And then Asmongold and XQC jumping into also pylon. It's probably one of the first times that he's like dealt with a lot of hate from multiple communities. At the end of the day, he's a relatively fragile person. It sounds like I'm just talking, but like he does have a lot of, I say that, but like he's probably normal or more normal. Not, he still has an abnormal tolerance for online hate. You have to work in this industry, but it's probably more than he's used to dealing with, and he's probably not exceptionally good at it. Part of the reason why it's nice to come up with a big community is because you're also protected by that big community. So he's probably lashing out a bit or trying to like regain control of the narrative, or like get people to focus their attacks on me or whatever to make himself feel better. But the problem is psychologically, I'm infinitely more powerful than he is. Okay, I will. Never mind. I was gonna make more jokes. Like he's trying to like be like I fought this for like 15 years. Like you're not. It's not gonna happen. Okay. I don't care if I am. Well, what are you going to do to me, bro? You're wild. You're never going to have a clip of me unironically arguing that it's good that some women are getting raped versus others. Like, it's not even close to the same thing. Or you copy paste it like, oh, look at this joke that he said in his chat, and blah, blah, blah. It's not going to come anywhere close to like the unhinged you said unironically on stream. But I mean, like, you keep playing those Nick Fuentes clips and see how far that gets you, I guess. Okay, sorry. On stream.
Democratic Party of America, let them go do events with those people. Jesus, why would you out so hard at these losers? Hassan shouldn't be anywhere near the DNC.
True.
Brianna Joy Gray, I don't know if she gets invited to show, buddy, for Breaking Points, Kyle Kulinski included. I'm sorry, maybe actually.
I like that he's the one who's like deciding, like in his mind. Guy who doesn't even know what the DSA is deciding who gets to be invited to the DNC.
The DSA? You mean that failure of an organization that has failed to turn out candidates, fundraise effectively? That what does he mean? What?
Me, I didn't go, but
Who the cares about the DSA?
I'll give him. He's a little.
Okay, I'm good. He said DNC? No, he just said DSA. Isn't the DSA the Democratic Socialists of America Party or whatever? The Democratic Socialists of America. I don't think these guys have accomplished or achieved much of anything. So I don't know what the point of even. Okay. These are the guys who refused our canvassing help, I think, in one of the states, and turned out 4 canvassers when we had like 300. But I think if somebody can find the picture on Twitter, they have a picture they took of their canvassing event. I think it was like 4 or 5 people that showed up. Why would anyone refuse canvassing help? Because I wasn't pure enough for them. Pretty good. This essay argues.
This, my friends, is no mere critique, it is an excoriation, a vivisection of Hassan's perceived incompetence, hypocrisy, and unsuitability to represent leftist ideals in any credible political capacity. First, let us unfurl the premise of this argument. Destiny postulates that Hassan's media presence, while ostensibly pro-democrat, is a corrosive force, a ticking time bomb of unfiltered rhetoric, incendiary takes, and intellectual inconsistencies. The Democratic Party, as he argues, cannot afford the liability of such a polarizing figure, especially one whose commentary often veers into territories that invite derision rather than persuasion. For Destiny, Hassan is not a champion of progressive ideals, he is a walking soundbite waiting to implode. At the heart of Destiny's critique lies a damning observation: Hassan's inability to navigate political discourse with the nuance and discipline required for mainstream credibility. While Hassan's bombastic style may endear him to a youthful Twitch audience, it simultaneously alienates the broader electorate. Destiny paints a picture of a man who prioritizes performative outrage over substantive engagement, a cardinal sin in the realm of political strategy. To him, Hassan's rhetoric serves as a lightning rod for criticism, drawing fire not just to himself but to the progressive causes he claims to champion. Then there is the issue of Hassan's infamous tendency to clash with critics, often escalating disagreements into full-blown feuds. Destiny highlights this as emblematic of Hassan's broader inability to constructively handle dissent. In a political environment that thrives on coalition building and compromise, such behavior is, in Destiny's eyes, disqualifying. The Democratic Party, he argues, cannot tether itself to a figure who turns every criticism into a personal crusade, draining resources and attention from more pressing issues. Destiny also brings to the fore Hassan's perceived hypocrisy, particularly his penchant for criticizing capitalist excess while partaking in its fruits. This is not merely a question of optics but one of authenticity, a trait Destiny contends is essential for any credible political ally. By inhabiting the very lifestyle he critiques, Hassan undermines his moral authority, leaving him vulnerable to attacks from the right and skepticism from the left. The Democratic Party, already struggling with perceptions of elitism, can ill afford to amplify such contradictions. Moreover, Destiny delves into the mechanics of Hassan's audience, an online behemoth of young, impressionable fans whose loyalty often translates into unchecked vitriol against perceived adversaries. While this fanbase is a testament to Hassan's influence, Destiny argues that it also functions as a liability, capable of overwhelming the discourse with toxicity. The Democratic Party, which strives, albeit imperfectly, to present itself as a coalition of dignity and decorum, would find itself at odds with the unruly mob that often acts in Hassan's name. Destiny doesn't stop at critiquing Hassan's approach, he also questions the efficacy of his advocacy. While Hassan's streams draw millions of viewers, Destiny argues that the substance of his content often lacks the depth required to mobilize real-world change. Whether it's his coverage of labor strikes, international conflicts, or electoral politics, Destiny sees Hassan as more of a commentator than an activist, a distinction that renders him ill-suited for the Democratic Party's more pragmatic ambitions. Another point of contention lies in Hassan's tendency to engage in intra-leftist squabbles, which Destiny views as counterproductive to progressive unity. In a political landscape already fragmented by ideological differences, Hassan's feuds with fellow leftists only serve to deepen divisions. Destiny juxtaposes this with his own calls for strategic coalition building, emphasizing that effective political movements require collaboration, not conflict. Destiny also casts a skeptical eye on Hassan's engagement with mainstream media. While Hassan has leveraged his Twitch platform to great effect, Destiny questions whether his style translates well to traditional media formats. In a world where every word is scrutinized and every misstep amplified, Destiny argues that Hassan's unfiltered approach poses a significant risk to the Democratic Party's messaging. A single gaffe, broadcast to millions, could derail months of carefully crafted strategy. Then there's the question of Hassan's ideological rigidity. Destiny accuses him of being more committed to an aesthetic of leftism than to the messy, often compromising realities of political work. This, he argues, makes Hassan an unreliable ally, someone more likely to prioritize his brand over the broader goals of the Democratic Party. In a field where pragmatism often trumps idealism, such rigidity is a liability. Destiny's argument reaches its crescendo with a broader critique of the Democratic Party's approach to media surrogates. He posits that figures like Hassan, while valuable for energizing the base, must be balanced with voices that can appeal to moderates and independents. By giving Hassan too much prominence, Destiny warns, the Democratic Party risks alienating the very voters it needs to win elections. Yet, amidst the critique, Destiny acknowledges the undeniable power of Hassan's platform. With millions of followers and an unparalleled ability to connect with Gen Z, Hassan represents a unique asset. The challenge, as Destiny sees it, is channeling this influence in a way that complements rather than complicates the Democratic Party's goals. This, he argues, requires a recalibration of Hassan's approach, one that prioritizes discipline over drama, substance over spectacle. In conclusion, Destiny's dissection of Hassan's role within the Democratic Party is both scathing and instructive. It serves as a cautionary tale for the dangers of conflating influence with efficacy, reminding us that the qualities that make someone a successful streamer are not always the ones that make them a successful political advocate. Whether or not the Democratic Party heeds Destiny's warning remains to be seen, but one thing is clear, the debate over Hassan's place in progressive politics is far from over.